Howdy, I'm John at Gloryview Ranch. One of the really invaluable tools that we have at this ranch is actually a manure spreader. You know, we have 13 horses out here, and of course we feed them, and that means that they produce some waste, and we need to clean out that manure out of their stalls, and we just don't want to, put it in a pile someplace. And so we clean the stalls out every day, and we put that manure into the manure spreader. And of course that manure is smelly and disgusting, and we do not want it in the stalls. We don't want our horses to just wallow around in their waste. That's not healthy for them, right? So we get it out, we clean it out, and then we take it and we spread it, right? So we see this manure as leftover and smelly and disgusting because that's what comes from the horse. So on one hand, we need to get it away from the horses. We need them, not to wallow in it. But at the same time, that smelly, disgusting stuff becomes valuable to us because we have grazing areas and pastures here on the ranch. And so we're able to take what is smelly and disgusting, put it in the manure spreader, take it out into those pastures and drive around and spread it, and it actually becomes fertilizer that helps things to grow. How incredible is that? Something that is smelly and disgusting becomes necessary to producing something good in another application. I'm sure James probably wasn't thinking about manure spreaders when he wrote in chapter 1, verse 2, that we're supposed to consider our trials as pure joy, because we know that the testing of our faith produces steadfastness. But I can't help but think about a manure spreader when I think about his verse, because we see our trials and our struggles and our pain much the same sometimes as we see that manure. They're smelly and they're disgusting. We just want to get rid of it. But ultimately what James is telling us, that it's that stuff. It's that struggle, it's that pain, it's that which we don't like, that we want to just get rid of and get away from it. Ultimately, it becomes the fertilizer to our heart, the soil of our heart, to produce this harvest of righteousness. Now, just like we don't want our horses wallowing around in that manure, we can't just wallow around in our trials like some victim. We move through them. We run at them and consider them joy, because we know that ultimately, even though it's smelly and it's hard and disgusting now, we believe the truth of God's word. That if we cast that out, if we move through with God's truths and His encouragement and His spirit and His strength, ultimately that which is disgusting and hard becomes this beautiful harvest of righteousness. And so the proper application of all those trials and all those struggles produce abundant living that we can have through Christ.